Hi guys, so there has been ongoing changes in Egypt over the last couple of years in terms of how to secure approval in this country. The most notable change was by far the introduction of two different approval schemes early last year, called the Light Scheme and the Tight Scheme. We regularly receive inquiries and questions from our clients regarding these two schemes, and more importantly, on how to qualify for the Light Scheme. So I'm going to walk you through those requirements in this video. So let's start with a brief overview of the Egyptian regulatory situation. The regulator is the National Telecommunications Regulatory Authority, or NTRA. Under the Light Scheme, we have a paperwork-only process based on review of the EU TCF. Manufacturer can hold approval directly in their own name, and lead time is around 4 to 5 weeks. Under the Tight Scheme, we have a very different story. Additional testing in a lab accredited by NTRA will be needed. Product samples are also required to be submitted directly to NTRA for mobile phones and tablets. Manufacturer can still hold approval directly in their own name. The lead time will be variable depending on test lead time, and pre-shipment inspections are required for all consignment. So obviously the Light Scheme is the most favorable route, and you'll be aiming for this route if possible. However, you can only qualify for applying under the Light Scheme in the following three scenarios. So the first one is if you manufacture your products outside of China or India. Note that Taiwan is considered to be outside of China by NTRA. The second scenario is if, as a manufacturer, you hold an ISO 17025 accreditation in EMC and safety scope, or in other words, for manufacturers who have their own accredited lab. The final way to qualify for the Light Scheme is if you are a manufacturer based outside of China or India, and you hold an ISO 9001 accreditation in design, development, and manufacturing scope. If you clearly meet one of these three criteria, then this is good news, and your approval process should be straightforward. If your situation is not quite so clear-cut, then the key to a successful Light Scheme application is a clear presentation of your case to NTRA. This is something we have been very successful at doing here at Eleos. Now, for manufacturers whose factories are in China or India, who do not have their own accredited lab and who do not hold an ISO 9001 accreditation, then unfortunately the Tight Scheme will apply. In this case, and as previously mentioned, ahead of applying for approval, applicants must first conduct testing against EU standards at one of the 7 labs accredited by NTRA shown here. Your existing test reports will not serve as evidence of compliance, unfortunately. Once testing has been completed successfully by the lab in China or India, they will issue what is called a Verification of Compliance Certificate, or VOC for short. Once the VOC is obtained, approval applications can then be submitted to NTRA, and you can start preparing your first shipment. This shipment should be inspected by the same lab that issued the VOC. Upon successful inspection, this lab will deliver a pre-shipment Verification of Compliance Certificate. This certificate should be submitted to NTRA prior to the shipment arriving in Egypt. Once the shipment has arrived in Egyptian customs and has been inspected locally, NTRA will finally issue their formal type approval certificate. Pre-shipment inspection will, however, remain mandatory for any subsequent shipment. So as you can see, the Tight Scheme is rather complex, and I've left out some of the minor details and exceptions to keep the video concise. However, Eleos are equipped to support both Light Scheme and Tight Scheme applications. So if you have any questions, just get in touch with us. We'll be very happy to help.